99 Nights in the Forest used to be no doubt the biggest game on the Roblox platform. Consistently averaging over 1 million players is no easy feat. And it would seem that every single YouTube video that covered this game would go on to get millions of views. But now, 99 Nights just feels like an empty shell of what it could have been. But how did a game this big fall so fast? You see, I used to be a 99 Nights in the Forest YouTube creator, and some of my videos were pulling in nearing 1 million views each. And as this YouTuber put it
was like you could post anything and get 100,000 views on a bad day. Like, it was insane.
By now you're probably thinking, is this game really dead? Because while yes, if you go on the front page of Roblox, you do see 300,000 concurrent players, which is nowhere near dead, but we need a little bit of context behind it. You see, if we go on the popular website Rollymons, you're now able to search up any game that you find. And if we go into 99 Nights in the Forest, as you can see over here, the amount of players is dropping very consistently. During its low times, it used to average 1.5 million, and now during the low times, it only averages a near 400,000. That is about a 67% decrease. You can also see that after each update, the like percentage keeps on decreasing overall.
But it was after September, after a peak, you know, you can't live in your peak for a while, it started going down. The updates dropped in quality, the game was getting a little repetitive, you feel me? And that's just the natural cycle of a game. I'm not trash talking the game.
And this change was very apparent, no matter what method you use to test it. If we go to any popular YouTuber's channels, for example, Yalk over here, which is a YouTuber primarily on 99 Nights in the Forest that has over 800,000 subscribers. If we go to his most popular, as you can see, this was all during the September months. Maybe a little bit of October, but look, 12 million, 11 million, 4 million, 4 million, they're just crazy amounts. And if you sort by latest right now, as you can see, these videos aren't even breaking 500,000. Now, I'm not saying this because I have anything against Yalk. Matter of fact, I could have picked any 99 Nights in the Forest YouTuber and they'd have basically the same result. Well, not entirely the same, because some YouTubers were actually sort of immune to this. But we'll get to that one later. My point is, it was evident that every single channel was being hit by the decrease in views in 99 Nights in the Forest. But the biggest question now is, why exactly are people leaving, and how do some YouTubers resist the fall of their views? Is there something that they know that we don't exactly know? Well, I went ahead and asked Roodolf, a 500,000 subscriber YouTube channel, once again for some answers.
The initial signs were when the game was getting repetitive and the updates were getting a little dry, though. I will say that. Nothing against the devs. They still make some good updates, like the hard mode update. That was great. I don't think it affected everyone equally, but I do think it did affect everyone. Some people less, some people more. For example, me, I wasn't really posting daily at the time. I was posting like roleplay videos like every few times a week, and they were doing really good. Probably a lot better than others, but I wasn't posting as much. And eventually, I just kind of ran out of ideas, and I didn't post for a week. And that's why it hit me a lot harder than someone like Grave or people who kept daily posting, because they sustained an audience. And so, I think it hit everyone regardless. Like, it doesn't matter how much audience you have, everyone's views went down. I'm gonna say that, period. But not equally. And what made the other people more immune than other people, by the way, is because they built up audiences. They kept going consistently, or they already had a big audience. To name a few, Alaska Violet, Could Be Cool. I mean, again, they're not in their prime, but they definitely have a very strong viewer base because they built their audience and they kept going for a long time.
But I think that it ultimately leads to the updates that the game received. Because if we go back to the very first update that was actually logged in the wiki, we can see that it was the classes update, which is also one of the most controversial updates in the game. You see, while classes remain a great option for the developers to earn a bit of extra Robux, with players buying diamonds with Robux and then using these diamonds as an in-game currency to buy these classes, it's actually a very bad decision, as this class system was actually on a grow a garden based stock system, meaning that it's not available at any time of the day. It can only be available during some days. So essentially, if you wanted yourself a very strong class you wanted to buy with your hard-earned diamonds, you would have to go ahead and wait a few days until that class actually came into stock, and that was when you could actually buy it. But then after the devs heard that the players all wanted a whole bunch more diamonds, they then released the Cultist Stronghold update, which is a really good update, no doubt. But the thing is that once you clear it, you only get a total of 5 diamonds. And just so you know, the good classes in the game are upwards of 100 to 500 diamonds, which is basically 100 clears in the Cultist Stronghold. And considering that each clear takes about 20 minutes for you to actually beat it, then it would be a total of 33 hours before you can go ahead and get yourself a class. Then the game came out a few quality of life updates, with the French update being a great source of decoration in your base, and also the alien invasion update, which happens sometimes in some games where aliens come down, as you can go ahead and get yourself some really good loot, such as the ray gun or even the cyborg cannon. But one thing to note is that with new updates came new classes, and some of which are so expensive that it's literally considered pay to win, such as the cyborg being 500 diamonds, the blacksmith being 200, or in the very far future there's going to be so many more classes, such as the big game hunter or the vampire, that cost 500 or even 1,000 diamonds to get. And the little diamonds the players received, combined with the stock system and the large prices of the classes, made it so that players had to wait an astronomically large amount of time to get these good classes, which basically meant that the game was becoming more and more pay to win. And overall, as more and more updates came around, it still didn't address the main issue of the game, which is that the game got a little too easy.
I'm gonna say it plain and simple. First, the biggest one is probably because the game's getting repetitive. Like, let's be honest, it's the same type of thing every single time when you play the game, and that's not bad, but it's not being shaken up enough. That's why the hard mode update was so good, and everyone's videos did good on the hard mode update, because hard mode actually changed the game's mechanics. Like, you had to do some new stuff, and it was actually hard. The game was getting easy. It was the same thing over and over for like 6 or 7 months straight. No, I'm not joking around. That's not a joke. I also think because the updates aren't just like mixing it up and stuff. Like, take for Steel Brain Rot, for example, or like Tsunami for Brain Rot. Sure, they died faster, but I mean, sure, maybe Steel Brain Rot's not as big as 99 Nights now, but one thing they did was they had like Wave Wednesday. They had some crazy events going on and everything. They had like a whole studio. I mean, hey, do big or not, they're a big studio and they do a lot of updates. So you can hate them as much as you want, but they do bring stuff to their game. 99 Nights, it doesn't seem like it's a big studio to me.
And this might precisely be why the game hasn't really changed its core mechanics in the gameplay. Truth be told, other than the occasional events such as the snow biome, the lava biome, or even the alien invasion, most of the game was practically the same as any other playthrough. And that exact same repetitive environment just sets you up for failure. Also, with so many other games on the rise, it just takes up space for 99 Nights in the Forest. For example, Beatstorm is making its new resurgence, followed with rivals also increasing at a rapid rate, and also one-off games such as Escape Tsunami for Brain Rots. They just all push the game down, but there is one final question I'll leave you guys with.
Can 99 Nights be saved? Yes, but only if they lock the crap in and deliver more updates like the hard mode update. Bigger, better updates. That's all they need to keep the game going. Period.